according to the app. Hello, guys. Oh man, I might have to make this a little bit higher. I did not think this through. Let's see. Oh well. This is a little bit. I'm gonna have to just like go down a little bit. Okay, so are library sales profitable in 2018? Well, the one I went to on Saturday was. So yes, they can be. I'm not saying every single one is profitable, but the one I went to on Saturday was. So yes, they can be. You want to see what I found? This entire, not this stuff over here, just the crate. So the crate is full, as you can tell, of books, overflowing with books. I've got CDs and I got one audiobook, but most of it are books. That's all from the sale. So, so yes, definitely they are profitable. And let's see how many I found. So I found a total of, no, okay. I found a total of 74 items. Now, remember guys, I'm talking about Amazon FBA, so FBA. I found 74 items, 57 books, 16 CDs, and one audiobook. Now, well, actually, I also found about a dozen or so young adult books and a few others, like some Rich Dad books. And I found all three of the 50 Shades trilogy, which I'm going to put in a lot, and those were all for eBay. So I found more than 74 items, but those other ones for young adult were really inexpensive. They were 25 cents each. So, and books were $1 hardback and 50 cents for softcover or paperback. And this was the first day of the sale, so next week they're going to have a bag sale for $2 a bag. So the previous time I went to this sale, which was 2 months ago, I just went to the bag sale, and I did well. For that one as well, but did much better for this one. So $1 for hardcover, 50 cents for paperback, and 25 cents for young adult and kids. And so out of all those items, 74 items for FBA and at least a dozen or more for eBay, I spent $54. That was it. I don't know the exact potential profits, but I do roughly have an estimate to make. By the way, 3 minutes in, and I'm just talking to myself. So when people join, hopefully, I'll be talking to them. And if you're watching this in the future, this is kind of how it is until you build up your channel a bit more, or for live streams, set a time, which is what I should do. At any rate, so my potential profits, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, because I found some books that were a good amount that were quick sellers for lower profit. When I say lower profit, I mean after all the expenses, cost of goods, inbound shipping, and FBA fees, that they're anywhere between like $1.50 or so up to like maybe $3 or $4. So anything under I would say anything between like $1 or $4, maybe $5. Those are the lower profit ones, and those are by and large going to be ones that are going to sell pretty quick. Those are ranked for books usually under 100,000. Many times they're ranked below 50,000, or a lot of times they're even really low ranked books that are under 10,000 or under 5,000 ranked for a book, which means they're selling a ton of copies of daily. So potential profits out of the 74 items. So I see we have 4 people now, which is awesome. So I'll recap just really quickly, because in the future when people watch this that aren't live, they're going to see me repeating it. But basically, for you 4 that are on here, I found all of these that are in the crate, just in the crate, which turned out to be 74 items, and 57 are books, 16 are CDs, and 1 are audiobook. These are all for FBA. And then I found about a dozen others that I'm going to put up for as part of lots on eBay, and I spent $54. So my potential profit is, what I'm saying is I'm gonna do an average of $6 of pure profit per item. Now it could be a little higher, it could be a little lower, but I figure that's kind of a good estimate. So if it was $5, it would be like $370 in profit. If it was $6, it would be about $450 in profit. So that's why I'm guessing about 400 plus in profit. Now this is after the $54 I spent. This is after inbound shipping. This is after all the FBA fees. So I feel like that's pretty good deal there. And that's just FBA. So the stuff I make off of eBay, it wasn't a ton of lots. It'll be a couple, maybe another $20, $30 or so off of that. So I thought it was pretty good. I wanted to make this video because, I mean, number one, I went to a book sale and I haven't been going to that many, but also just to kind of show, or I don't know, I was going to say prove, but not necessarily prove, but just maybe prove to myself, or just see if library book sales are still a viable source for profitable books for Amazon FBA in 2018. Because I made a lot of my videos back in 2016, and then some, most of them in 2016, maybe a few in 2015, and then some in 2017. But things were different in 2016, that's for sure. And I was going to a lot more book sales, thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales. And the thing about book sales is there's lots of books there, so there can be lots of competition, lots of other resellers, which is what the case was when I first started going to them a few years ago. Move this back a little bit. So yeah, I wanted to go and see, and it was a 9 a.m. start, and you have to be a member to show up that early. It's $5 a year. I had to renew mine to be a friend of the library, and then you get access to the books. And this is a relatively small book sale compared to a lot of the bigger ones that happen across the country. This one's about, I would say, I think they say it's 10,000 or more books. They're always new, or rather they're always different books there at every sale. They used to do it every 3 months, and they do it every 2 months. And so it's relatively small compared to a lot of these other ones. I've been to other ones that are bigger, probably at least 2 others that are bigger. I've never been to those massive ones where there's like 100,000 or more books and it's like a warehouse and there's thousands of people. I haven't been to one of those. But this is one of the bigger ones I've been to. Well, like medium size, I guess. So it's not a huge one, but there's still a good amount of, most of the people that show up are not resellers, but there's still enough for there to be competition. I would say there was at least 1, 2, 3, probably at least half a dozen, maybe more. So here's the thing, I showed up late because one of the freeways was closed. So I had to go a roundabout way to get there, and I got there about 5 or so minutes after they had already let everybody in. And then I had to buy my new membership, so that took another 5 minutes because there was like 3 people in front of me. So I was like 10 minutes late. And so there were already people just, I was going to say swarming, not swarming, but there was a lot of people in there for a small room and not very much room to move around. So I decided that once I got my pass or my membership renewed, that I would just go for the CDs because they were just left. Because most people don't bother with CDs for Amazon because they're either not approved, not gated, or they just don't do it for whatever reason, if they can. So I went for the CDs and I found, like I said, 16 of them. And then I went to young adult, went to the kids to see if there was any Harry Potter or anything else for eBay lots. And I found some. So it was probably like, I don't know, close to an hour or so before I actually got to the nonfiction books. And so remember, there's already like a half a dozen or so people. Oh, Dane, how you doing, man? Glad you're here. There's 6 of us here, or 7 plus me, but there's 6 of you watching, which is awesome. So I got there or I started going to the nonfiction, and they have a whole wall of nonfiction. It's like they have tall bookshelves, about six or so, pretty long, tall. So they hold a lot of books, and they're different sections. They've got like arts and hobbies and that type of art and hobbies and that type of stuff. And they have like business, and they have um, uh, education and different things. So I went to one. Oh, that was sociology, I think, is the other one. And then they have another wall of like biographies and memoirs and things like that. So I went to one and I started scanning through it, and I do what makes sense to me, and a lot of people don't seem to do this, is you just start at the top and you start on the right and you just go through and scan, and books that don't have, oh, yeah, that's my daughter. Say hi, B. Say hi. There she is. um, yeah, so I started scanning, and remember, by the time I got to these sections, there had already been half a dozen or so other resellers that had already gone through them. I assume they'd gone through them if, they're resellers. Okay. Because, why are you there, right? Sorry. So yeah, sorry, we had a brief toy break. What do you call it? Sorry guys, I keep getting distracted. I started going through the nonfiction, some of the nonfiction, and I was just surprised by how many I found. So to make a long story short, let's see, CDs, young adult, and then I started nonfiction. And in one shelf, or rather bookshelf, which is about 6 shelves, I found like 14 books, and this was including school-related, not necessarily text. Well, some of them are textbooks, the larger books, with great profit in them, and they're paperback. I think most of them, if not all of them, were paperback, and 50 cents each. And I was just amazed. I kept finding them, and then I would also find, which has happened in the past, which are the thinner paperbacks that are going for good money, and I was finding those, going for over 20 bucks, and this is after I'd been there like an hour, and so when I was, I kept on like, one of these times I'm gonna live stream, like I think I'm gonna attach a camera or something to my chest, and I don't know, I'm gonna live stream it because it's just amazing to me finding this stuff after people have already gone through it, I assume. So it's either people are inexperienced, which is quite possible, which leads to ignorance and they don't know what they're doing, or they're lazy, or both, because I just kept finding, hold on. I just kept finding a lot of good books, and I think people skip the quicker selling, lower profit books still, which is crazy to me, because if you're going to sell it when it hits the warehouse or within a couple days or a week or so, why not make that money? And just all those books. So to me, there was like a couple shelves towards the bottom where I found a bunch of valuable books, half a dozen or so, and on one bookshelf. And I just was pretty much blown away that people had either not looked through them, or I don't know, look through them. I just can't really imagine. They must have not looked through them, which doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, so kind of what this said to me, and what I won't want to pass up a quick $3 to $4, is if you're new, or even if you've been doing it for a while, it's kind of a good reminder to not be scared of competition, or not be scared of a lot of other resellers at an event. Now again, it varies on where you live and how experienced some of the other FBA resellers are, that type of thing. But I was amazed that a lot of people just didn't know what they were doing, or were too lazy, I guess, because it doesn't seem to be a big difference between 2015 going to book sales and 2018, other than FBA fees have increased a lot. Split shipments are now common, and now more fees are coming down the road here quickly next month with the monthly long-term storage fees. So aside from that stuff, people are still. I think maybe what it is there's just a lot of new sellers constantly coming in, and the older sellers have gotten out, are going into bulk, are not doing it anymore, are not going to book sales. I don't know, because I saw two rather. There's a couple that I've seen before, man and woman, and a woman who was there who I've seen in the past, like the last year or whatever, or later. And they were still there, but aside from them, everybody else was different as far as I could tell. So that's kind of the gist of it. Found all those books. Let's see. Here's one. Primal Wound. I can't look them up. I could get my computer, but so they're all nonfiction, guys. I don't really bother too much looking through the fiction. There's some, I think this one was one, that are a little longer tail. There's a couple longer tail ones, but these I'm gonna make a shipment this week. I'm probably gonna hit a thrift store this week as well, because I'm close to 100 items to do a shipment. Of course, I'm sure I'll get splits. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I was just blown away by how many books were available there, and no one really was looking through the CDs, so I was able to snag 16 of them. I don't think I found anything real super valuable in the CDs, but I did find some good ones that have some profit in them. Let's see. Dana, I say, have you noticed any more or less competition in your area in the past year at thrift stores? Oops. I'm about to go full-time on the road a few days a week, just going to library book sales within 4 hours away. So I have not been going regularly to thrift stores for a while because I've been in bulk, but I have gone to a few lately. Like I went to one last week, and I believe I went to another one the week before. And I did go to one that I used to go to a lot, and there was another reseller there in the book section who I'd never seen before, but I haven't been going there regularly, so I don't know if he's going there regularly or if he's just dropping by, because I've seen other resellers in that thrift store when I was going like at least once a month, and excuse me, and I never saw him before, and I didn't really see other resellers consistently there. I hear a lot of people talk about on YouTube or in Facebook groups or in the comments about so much other competition in their area, and I guess it depends on where you live. Certain areas have a lot more competition than others. Also, certain locations have a lot more competition. I know of one thrift store that I've been to a couple times where it's a typical thrift store. They have mostly clothes, but they've got a decent sized book section and vinyl and CDs, and they'll bring out the carts with the new stuff, and there's like 2 or 3 resellers who will just mob the cart and grab whatever they feel is valuable and scan it, and they're just waiting around for the carts to come out. I saw that at another thrift store as well, but they weren't like resellers. I think they were like maybe eBay flippers or whatever. But so yeah, I haven't noticed increase in competition. Have you? You say you're going on the road. Yeah, I think it's worth it to go if you've got a good amount of library book sales within 4 hours or so of you, and you have the time and all of that, then it's probably worth it. I mean, where I live in Southern California, there's a ton of them. It's just a matter of going to the ones that have good books and not so much competition. I've been to probably, let's see, one, two, three. Wait, hold on. One, two, three, four, five. That I can think of five, but I've been to more than that. I've probably been to 6 to 8, maybe more. But I only really found two. One I just went to this weekend, and another one that's a bigger one that was worth going to. There was another one that was pretty big, but when I went, which was a couple of years ago, I really wasn't finding very good books. There's always going to be resellers at these book sales because there's Amazon book resellers, FBA resellers at these library book sales because they have books, they have tons of books, so it's going to attract people. And I just wouldn't worry about it because a lot of them are not going to want to sell the books you're going to want to sell, and even if they do, there's a lot of books. So no matter how fast they are at scanning, even if they're doing live scanning and they're going really quickly, you can start in the same section and meet in the middle. And then if you go back through what they've gone through, I wouldn't be surprised if you found some stuff that you feel is worth flipping. So it's definitely worth it. Have I ever done 2 book sales in the same day? I don't think so. It would seem like it wouldn't be worth it, but if you could do one maybe Friday and then one Saturday, sometimes they'll have the big ones where they'll have it like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday kind of a deal. But those are huge sales. If you want to, I know there was a guy in a Facebook group who went to this huge one in Arizona, and people camp out, literally spend the night in line, which makes no sense to me, so that they can get in. But the thing is so big, I don't see why you would do that because I guess it's part of the experience, but it seems bizarre to me. But that's something you can do. I guess it's a huge one where they have like 100,000 books. The books are really good as a reseller. Sorry, something happened on the screen. Okay, so I've never done one of those. And Arizona is pretty close. I mean, I could go to that one next year, but I'm not going to spend the night. I mean, I don't know how it works logistically, so I can't really speak on it. But I think it's worth it to go to some nearby. Even if you drive 4 hours and you go to a great book sale. Okay. And you go to a great book sale, it's probably going to be profit. I mean, here's the thing. If you've never been to these sales before, it's a bit of a risk because you don't know if the books are that great. You don't know if there's a lot of competition or not. So there's that to deal with. You should find out ahead of time how much they charge. They charge to get in. How much are the books? Are they just a flat fee? Are they kind of pricey? So it kind of depends. But I would definitely say it's a good thing. But I would say that if you're not in bulk and you're pretty new to FBA reselling, that book sales in 2018 are still great. And there's always going to be competition, but a lot of times the competition is not really competition because they're too lazy to scan every book. Maybe they feel that certain books don't look like they're profitable, so they don't bother. Or they're just lazy. They're too lazy to look up a book with an ISBN number because they're just lazy. Maybe they only want to look up school books, textbooks, or the big profit books, so they avoid the smaller paperbacks and the lower profit paperbacks and books in general. Also, if you're doing eBay already, or if you haven't and thinking about it, that's another thing to get into potentially. Not necessarily books individually, but maybe lots are better to start off because you can find a lot of times some good books at the book sales, especially if you do the bag sales, and you can turn around and sell that stuff on eBay in lots, or sometimes individually depending on the book. So definitely, whether it's a book sale or whether it's a thrift store or whether it's a garage sale or an estate sale, people are people. There's a lot of lazy people. There's also always new people. So even if you look around the room, around the sale, and you see 10 other resellers with scanners scanning, maybe they don't really know what they're doing. They look like they do because they have a scanner and an app, and they're scanning really fast. But maybe they don't know how to read the data very well. Uh, they're brand new and that sort of thing, and they just don't know what's going on. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, comments, funny stories about this, anything at all, go ahead and let me know because I basically covered what I wanted to cover in the video. I could show some other books. The better ones to. This is what I mean, the stuff like this that's really small. Okay, pero. Ven, ven acá. Bianca, él está jugando. Déjalo, ven. Estoy haciendo un video. Yeah. So these smaller ones, sometimes they don't stand out as much. Again, I don't know which one of these, are worth more than the other, or which ones are fast sellers and big money. But these kind of small ones, there's another tiny one. A lot of people see these on the shelf and they don't even bother. So this one has the barcode, this one does not. Let's see. This is another small one. So these are examples of in terms of the size of some of them. Another was that I went to, they had it's like teachers resources, parenting section, which was pretty small on the other side of the room. And I went through there and I found, so have you heard of this, the Reggio way? I've sold a book like this. This one. So I found all of these over there, and it looked like no one had been through that section, or an FBA reseller had been through that section. I also found a bunch of these. It says Teacher's Edition, so I don't know if I can sell them on Amazon. They're selling, I don't know, we'll see. If I can't, I'll try eBay, we'll see what happens. But again, they're pretty inexpensive, and if I can sell them on Amazon, they'll sell for good money. So those are some of the things that I found there. Someone commented something. Fashion Outlook. I honestly don't know how people are still able to do books full time nowadays. Well, oi. It depends. It depends on what you're selling. Definitely, if you're not finding very many higher priced books, or I should say, let's say books that you can profit or that you can sell for $20 or more and get for $1 or less. Well, I mean, you get them for $2 or less, but let's just say around $1. If you're not able to find very many of those, and most of the ones you're finding are in, let's say, the $10 to $12 range versus, $20 and up. If you're not finding too many of them, then yeah, it's probably, it's basically a quantity issue. You're going to have to send in a lot more books than we did in 2016 because the fees are just a lot worse, on a $10 book. Depends on the size. Right. I'm talking about non-bulk. So what I used to do before I got into bulk, which was the thrift stores, the book sales, the garage sales, and the estate sales, you just have to be pickier with what you send in. More volume, yeah, or you have to specialize, like you said, in textbooks or higher priced books, which is what some people do. So you find those sources. Either you find good, you go to cities that have estate sales, garage sales, and you look for higher priced books. I happen to live in a city where there's a lot of professors and older people with money, and so a lot of the garage sales and some estate sales can have some quality items, not just books, but definitely can have some quality books. So that's a way to go. You can go to directly to professors and try to buy books off of professors. There's a lot of different ways. If you haven't found a bulk source, or if you're not willing to go into bulk, then yeah, you got to definitely probably specialize in something like that. I mean, the good thing about bulk is it's pretty inexpensive for books. You can buy a gaylord of books for anywhere between, well, I mean, depends, but 40, 50, $60, and get 800 to 1,000 books and pull out 5 to 10% for FBA alone. And then if you have no interest in eBay, then don't do eBay, but you can also pull some stuff out for eBay as well. So there's ways, definitely, but for sure, when I had 2,700 items or more in my inventory, a lot of those items I would not send in now, and I probably should not have sent in back then. I just didn't have the experience. And if and when I get up to that amount, because I'm up to, once I have all my items, this is my last shipment of 300, I'll have probably like 1,200, 1,250 in there, which is not even half of what most I had before. But I have a higher turn rate. So back then I didn't have as high of a turn rate, and a lot of the stuff I sent in wasn't worth it. And now with the higher fees and the monthly long-term storage fees hitting soon, it's definitely more important to be picky and know what is going to sell quicker and for a profit. That's for sure. I mean, yeah. So let's see. Hold up. Let's see what we got. Let's turn this around. Good. Estoy haciendo video, okay? This was one that I've sold before, back to basics. And it is heavy, but it sells pretty quick. Voices of Freedom. Stand on Writing. So, I won't go through all of them, but, and there's a bunch of the bigger, more profitable ones that are still in there. So if you can go to a couple of these book sales a month, or even one or two, and then supplement that with yards or thrift stores, garage sales, and estate sales, you can still do pretty well. Can you sell books full time, like Fashion Outlook was talking about? As in, can you make enough money to live off of? Well, I don't know. It depends on your situation. Excuse me. If you want to do it full time and live off of the money that you're making, then, I mean, you got to break it down, right? You got to figure out how much you need. If you have a job right now to replace your income, what's your average sale price? What's your average profit? How many books are you selling? If you double or triple what you send in, what would that be? It's basic. Do some basic numbers. Can you sustain it, right? If you need to make $3,000 a month in profit, then is it sustainable? Can you keep it up all year? Can you maybe build it up to even more than that and then take a little time off, whatever it may be? It depends on what your situation is. Everybody has different situations. Again, guys, if you have questions or comments, let me know. But definitely it's definitely possible to make some good money with selling books on Amazon in 2018. A lot of people got out, just flat out didn't agree with or didn't appreciate or weren't willing to pay the higher FBA fees, and I totally understand it. People went to Merchant Fulfilled, or they went to eBay, or they just got out of book selling altogether, and maybe switched over to higher valued products and items on Amazon or on eBay, which makes sense. But it just depends on what you want to do. So yeah, guys, it was a good haul. 74 items, dozen or so books for eBay, lots. It was definitely worth the time. I was there probably actually scanning maybe like 2 hours or so. Because because I was scanning the CDs and the nonfiction, and then I was looking through some of the. Yeah, it was like 2 hours. Um, oh, there's Manny. Totally still profitable. Definitely profitable, for sure. Um, so yeah, I probably spent about 2 hours or so. Maybe a little bit over 2 hours because I got there a little bit late, and then I left I probably left like 11:30, so close, yeah, a little over 2 hours, 2.5 hours at most. Um, but it was definitely worth it, not only for profits, but just to see, kind of doing research to find out if what the competition is like in 2018 for books at library book sales, and it's not really different. It ebbs and flows. I could go every 2 months to this one. I could go every 2 months to this library book sale, and I probably would see different resellers. Some of the same ones for sure, but then I would probably see different ones, and I probably have the same outcome. I was surprised. I honestly thought going there that I might be wasting my time, but I wanted to try it out just to see if it was still viable, and I was shocked by how many I found. If you'll see from one of my videos, I think for my Friday video, I said I'll be happy if I find 30 or more books. And then I end up finding 57 books and a total of 74 items. So it was a pleasant surprise, to say the least. This will definitely help as we're going into textbook season and slowly getting out of the summer, which is supposed to be slower, even though my sales have been doing well. And speaking of that, today's Prime Day, right? So I don't know if that matters for you guys, but yesterday I had a lot. I think I had 16 or 18 sales yesterday, which I was blown away by. Uh, yeah, Sunday. So you just never know. That might have to do with that I had some like 50 new items hit the warehouse, I think Friday or Saturday. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. You don't know. Maybe it's no, I don't know. Anticipation of Prime Day. I'm not really sure, but anyway, yeah. What I was talking about is going to this library sale, worrying about being not being sure if it was if it was going to be good, and then being late because of the freeway being closed, and being like the last person to show up in the morning anyway when it first opened, and not starting to scan the nonfiction books until about an hour, just because there was too many people, and I was focused on the CDs and then looking at young adult and kids stuff. And then I got over there and I couldn't believe what I found. It was so weird. It was really strange because it's almost my first takeaway is like, oh, is it better in 2018 to go to a book sale than it was in 2016 because the fees are higher? Yes. Less profitable. Yeah. There's less profit than 2016 in the books, but less competition possibly at these sales. So it's definitely worth it. My advice would be go, if you haven't gone in a while, if you've never gone, go to some book sales and see what the competition is like, because Amazon might have scared away or angered so many sellers, long-term sellers and newer sellers, that there's just not as much competition out there, and the people that are trying it are new and they don't really know what they're doing and that sort of thing, or maybe they're a little scared about how much money to spend because they don't know whether they'll make very much money. So that was pretty, less sellers. Do you think there's less? Do you notice, Robert? Do you notice less sellers on a lot of the listings? I've honestly haven't listed heavy in books lately. I'm getting more into it, but I just remember even like a year ago, it seemed like there was just a lot of booksellers. Maybe not a year ago, maybe like definitely 2016. There's a ton of booksellers, and maybe there's just less now. But Definitely less at the book sale, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I know Manny was saying that. I don't know if it was in a video or somewhere, but that we need to stick it out. That if if you stick it out, if you make it through these FBA fee hikes, the few fee hikes and now the long-term storage fees, if you make it through it on the other side and you're still sending in shipments, and if you're able to weather the split shipment storm, although it doesn't seem to be a storm, it seems to be a permanent way of dealing with or of having to do business on Amazon. If you can make it through all of that and long-term storage fees, then you'll be one of the few that's left, which means which means there's less competition. So if tons of people are going to merchant fulfilled, then FBA is kind of like not wide open, but definitely less competitive than it used to be. Yeah, it's a real split store. It definitely is. It's the great splitting of Amazon. People going to merchant fulfilled and or people just leaving, splitting the business, that's for sure. Yeah. So let's see. There's 10 of us. Well, there's 10 of you watching. It's been up to like 12, I think, which is awesome. 41 minutes in. I think I'm gonna call it. I gotta go take my little children. I like to call them animals, but you know, my kids. We're gonna go do something fun, even though it's really hot. And I don't know if it's hot where you guys are, but it is. We had a heat wave a couple weeks ago, and it just hasn't stopped. So maybe if you're, living somewhere else, I shouldn't complain. But if you guys, does anyone have any questions or comments? If not, I'm going to end the video in about 30 seconds or so. If you have any questions or comments, let me know right now. But I hope that you guys watching and everybody in the future here that watches this video, 95 in New York. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is here exactly, but it's definitely in the 90s. So yeah, we're all sharing. You're welcome. We're all sharing in the heat wave or the semi-misery here. But if you can stay kind of cool with the fans and stay in the shade, you can make it. But yeah, guys. So I wanted to share this with you guys. Tomorrow I'll do another video. I'm not sure about what. I try to come up with different topics, talk about what's going on. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm probably gonna go to a thrift store to see if I can get another. Hey. Okay, hold on. I'll probably do a video about that or not. I'll come up with something else. But in the comments below, guys, you let me know if there's any topics you want to talk about or know about or find that's interesting. So now, what I find funny about these live streams is when I started, there was, for like the first 4 minutes, there was just me talking to myself. And now at the very end, when I run out of things to talk about, there's 10 of us, 10 of you guys watching. And it's kind of a cruel trick. So I would love to do a video at the same time every weekday, but I don't think that's going to work for me just because kind of all over the place with my schedule, but we'll see. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And what did I used to say? Keep booking, but keep it up, guys, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I should just for 5 minutes, I should just let the video run. Like, and you just see the room and like kids running by and me running after them or whatever. And then I'll just, I'll launch into it once I see there's some people on here. That's probably a good idea. I should do that next time, huh? Or maybe just stare at the camera. Although I'd feel bad for the people that watch it in the future, which is going to be most of the people that'll see this video will be when it's not live. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.